Okay, so we are back, my people. What is the vibe? We are back again. We are here again. Just you know the vibe, you know the drill. So like and subscribe, and we're going to start with the pairs we took this week. Start with the breakdown recap of last week and what the pairs actually later did this week. So starting from the first pair, I think no, let me start from the first pair on the list of last week. We had GBPNZD. GBPNZD was among our top pairs. Yeah, because okay, I'm gonna move this. Yeah, GBPNZD. Okay, basically last week we didn't take any trade. We took one trade, but all the pairs we broke down here, everything was just slow. Everything, some played, many played out, didn't give us an entry. So starting from this pair, GBPNZD, remember we're still looking for sales. Price just used this week to pull back, as we see on the daily time frame. Daily time frame is bearish, and it tested the area of interest as you wanted it to. It tested the EMA, which is setting it up for this new week we are about to enter. Okay, so GBP AUD, we're also looking for sales. We're also looking for sales last week. We said we're waiting for a pullback to this point to enter the trade, to enter the trade sales, but we have not entered yet, because when price had this pullback, went to the 4-hour time frame, we saw this some type of rejection. This could have been an entry, but nah, it wasn't in our session. I wasn't really interested in it, so I didn't take the trade. So I'm waiting for this week. We're waiting for next week is that a pullback to enter the trade, but we didn't take anything on that too. Our second pair, AUDUSD. I remember we said last week that we talked about this head and shoulders pattern here. Talked about some kind of head and shoulders pattern here. Inverse head and shoulders, waiting for a pullback to buy. Price never pulled back to buy. Price just broke through, which that means we didn't take any trade. We weren't interested in that. USDJPY went straight to our TP. USDJPY went straight to our TP. While we said we are waiting for USDJPY to pull back on the 4-hour time frame here, give us an entry here to buy. Price never pulled back and went straight to the TP. So we missed this trade, but with time we're going to delete this so that the chart won't be messy. So this pair is gone because we are not interested in it for next week. So it's gone. EURNZD. EURNZD also went straight to our TP without giving us an entry. EURNZD, remember we said we had this evening star formation here. We need a pullback. We need a pullback to this zone, this lower time frame support and resistance level for us to sell, which price missed it by very few pips, like 4 pips. Price missed it and price sold off to our TP without giving us an entry. So we didn't take anything, we didn't execute any trade. GBPUSD, second to the last week. I think we had like 6. We had very few pairs last week. GBPUSD, we're looking for sales. Sorry, this zone is from next week's markup, but ignore that zone, ignore this zone that I'm marking up right now. And what I said last week that I was waiting for a pullback to this zone here to sell. Price never pulled back, price just kept selling, so we didn't take any trade. The trade we took was GBPCHF. Sorry guys, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps so you can get more content like this. GBPCHF, we were selling and price waked us out and went straight to the take profit. How does that happen, bro? Like, it's crazy. This trading is crazy. So price hit our stop loss and that was a waked us out and came and gave another head and shoulder to sell and went for the TP. That's very insane and crazy. But at the same time, we went low risk because it was a high trade. I said on my Twitter that this is a very high risk trade. So I went low risk here and I didn't lose much. So far the account is still up 4.6%. We are a little bit behind. We are a bit behind for real. Like, it's taking longer than it should, but as long as we get it done, that's the main point. Now the trade I took, one other trade I wanted to take, or I took and exited at breaking because I was breaking my rules, was AUDJPY. AUDJPY was a very clean trade, just that I didn't see it on Sunday. I didn't pay attention to it as much, so I was meant to miss the trade. When I saw someone that posted it, and I saw the trade here. I saw it at entry. So let me find where I saw it at the entry, where I could have entered. um I saw this trade at entry here. This is where I was meant to enter this trade, because I know I have the screenshot. I even took the trade here. But I exited at break even because I was breaking my rules. One of my rules that I have is that I should not enter any trade that I didn't analyze here on the Sunday breakdown, weekly breakdowns, or I didn't post on the threads. And once the pair is not in my list, I do tend, most of the time I've noticed that I do lose that trade, any trade I go out to go and find. So I saw this trade very beautiful from this point here. I'm trying to find the picture. Trade very beautiful from that. Trade very beautiful from this point here. And price started immediately, the entry, no drawdown. In fact, I said the trade at break even, like here, as you guys can see. So AUDJPY was a pair that I went and I found. After all these markets we had from last week didn't give us any trade, we now went to find AUDJPY. We went to find the pair and we found AUDJPY, but I didn't take it because it's not part of my rules. My rule is I shouldn't leave my list. I shouldn't leave my list that I have already marked up on Sunday. I shouldn't leave the list. So I didn't take. I took the trade, but I exited at break even because I remember that I was breaking my rules. So I exited the trade. I had this trade at entry point. So I had this trade around entry point. I saw this trade around entry point. I entered and exited. See, this is where I took the screenshot of it at entry point. This is where I would have entered, but I didn't enter because of my rules. I stuck to my rules, and that is a bigger win because I stuck to my rules. So basically nothing much happened last week. Just one trade, one loss. Fine. On to the next. And now on to the pairs for this new week that we are entering right now. We have AUDJPY as one of our first pairs. We have, this is if we go to the weekly time frame, we can notice this crazy bearish engulfing candlestick here, indicating that price needs to have a retracement, maybe a retracement to this kind of level here, maybe this support level here, or this one, to now have the next push to create a new high. But it has to have this retracement, and it's also under the EMA, so it's indicating that we are trying to catch this retracement on the weekly time frame. Going on to the daily is bearish because we have this lower high and lower low. Let me explain. This pair was trending up from here for me. When it came here, it shifted bearish, then pulled back here, broke under, retested, and sold. So price shifted bearish here. This is just the continuation of the bearish move. If you notice, this is also another form of a left head right shoulder here, I guess. Left head right shoulder break, retest of neckline to sell. So I'm currently waiting for a pullback to this point here. This point here is the level I observed that has the highest number of touches. It has the highest number of touches. This zone here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And anytime price got to this level, even in the past, it had a rejection here, 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 here. A lot of more times here, here, like a lot of times. So I believe that if price is to pull back here, give us our entry. If pull back here, give us our entry, we are going to look for sells. Basically, this is the trade we missed last week on AUDJPY, as I explained before. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to waiting for a pullback to this zone. Then if you have this pullback, you now see some kind of this EMA will push. Then when price pulls back, it's now we test this EMA and then we will see a sell. So that's basically what we're looking for on AUDJPY. NZDJPY, we are looking for sells, because if we go to the weekly, you'll see that price has printed the same type of, it just looks exactly like the like, what's the name, AUDJPY. EURJPY, this one also printed so a kind of head and shoulders pattern here and pushed. I really like this pullback is trying to have this rejection is trying to it's trying to have this pullback to this level here, this level of support and resistance here, in order to keep buying or to do whatever. But I know that it wants to have this pullback to this level. So this bearish engulfing on the weekly time frame also is under the EMA, the weekly EMA, and also under this wicks, that I like the way it is looking, under these bodies here too. So I like the way it is looking. What we just need is a pullback to this zone to sell, because if you notice, this zone is very, very strong. Anytime price got here rejected, got here rejected, got here rejected, it always struggles at this point. Even here it struggled here it struggled. It always struggles at this point. If you give it even to the past, here, like you can just observe it very, very well. A lot of places struggle even to the past here. So this level is very, very strong. That I'm very, very interested in this zone. If it breaks through this one, then this one is the one we're going to use. It has to be breaks through this one. If it does this, push, break on that retest, then we're also still interested in that. But I'm basically interested in this one for sales. If you notice on the 4-hour time frame, you still have this should I say this left head, right shoulder break retest of the neckline of this, either the right shoulder neckline or the left shoulder neckline, retest of the neckline to sell. That's basically what we're waiting for on NZDJPY, looking for sales. Very, very beautiful. Also has the head and shoulder is also very visible on the daily time frame. Left head, right shoulder, left head, right shoulder, retest of neckline to sell. Basically, let me bring it up. Basically, very clear. So that's what we're waiting for. As you can see, our alarm is set for when price gets here and has this retest that we are going to sell. Not instantly, but we're going to for our confirmation to sell. CADJPY, I like the way CADJPY is looking. I like the way CADJPY is looking. I want to sell from these wicks. I want to sell from here because I like the struggle here. Anytime price got here, struggled. Go to the past, you can see some bodies. You can see some bodies here, some bodies here, some bodies here. If you know, anytime price got here, it struggles. Like, it's a very, very nice support and resistance level. Struggle, like it's very beautiful support and resistance level. So I'm very, very interested in selling after this daily bearish engulfing here. You also go out to the weekly, you also see some kind of evening star formation, and this week I like it because some kind of liquidity grab ish type of wick. Also, price needs a pullback on this, or as I said on AUDJPY and NZDJPY. This one also printed some kind of left head, right shoulder push, needs a pullback in order to keep moving, right? So we're trying to catch that pullback, trying to catch that retracement. That is what it wants to do. After this daily bearish engulfing, I'm really interested in what it wants to do. You go down to the lower time frame, like the 4-hour time frame. You know, the anytime price got here, it's rejected, got here, sold, got here, rejected, bought. I was waiting for a pullback to this zone to see our entry signal to sell, something like that. So on to the next. EURJPY, as I said before, EURJPY has been trending up for weeks and weeks. I think on the last 2 videos, I keep talking about EURJPY. EURJPY has been trending up like for the past 9 weeks, fucking 9 weeks. So it's bound to have a retracement now. It's bound to have a retracement. So I see here, it's bound to have a retracement. This is a weekly time frame. Though the weekly time frame is still bullish though, but if you know, and the same thing, they all are just printing the same thing. If you notice this left head-ish, right? This left head, right shoulder-ish push. This left head, right shoulder. Because if I bring it out, you would see it. See it here. Left head, right shoulder push. Just had the rejection at this point here. So I'm expecting it to have a pullback. Because it had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks of buys. It should have like 4 weeks of sales, right? Have like 4 weeks of sales. Already had the first week. We should expect the second week. Maybe we should have the week should have a week pullback into this level here. So that's when you go down to the lower time frame. Remember, by trade, we're just being logical. We're being very, very logical here. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm very tired. I'm very, very tired. I've not really had enough strength lately. My head is everything is really fuzzy sometimes. So daily is bearish. It's also indicating that we're having that retracement we're talking about, right? This is the lower low, this is lower high, and this is the lower low. So we're looking for a nice range inside this level to sell. I chose this zone here because let me type this shit down. Why didn't it show? Okay, yeah. So I chose this zone because we have this 1, 2, 3. We have a lot of struggle here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is very nice. Entire price got here, rejected up, got here, rejected down, got here, rejected up, and so on and so forth. So the price got here last week again. We had this rejection. So what I'm waiting for basically is a pullback into this zone, into around psychological level 172,000 to then continue selling again. That's my plan for this period. Pull back into this zone, sell off again. So EURUSD, we're looking for sales. EURUSD, we've noticed we have this some kind of double. We can say from this point, look at it from this point, you can say we have a left head, right shoulder. If you look at it from this point, look at it from this angle. Yes, let me show you. Look at it from this point, you can see we have a left head, this left head, right shoulder here. So if you look at it from another angle, you can have this some kind of double top pattern here. Pull back to this zone to sell. I like it. I like it. I like the sales I'm looking at, because we are just looking for a pullback into this zone, which is already pulling back. The price should even be on 1B top. It's not as if it's my best, but I believe it's going to can get ready before this other one. So I was just going to keep you under these JPYs. Yeah, it was there before. That was why I put it there. So I prefer the JPYs better for this week. As you guys already know, we are up 4.5-ish% on the account. 4.5 plus up on the account. I'm very tired. I'm supposed to have passed this phase 1 since. I'm very, very tired. As you all know, that doing all these calls is not as easy as it looks, because it's crazy entirely. So as I said, we're looking for a pullback on this. We're looking for a pullback to this level. Sell that is pulling back. You go on to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame. You know that the weekly should have a very let me say a very, very substantial wick. So I know that the wick might come in Asian session. We don't trade Asian session. So we're going to have this maybe wick mess around here, then a rejection. If you notice, this 4-hour is bullish. So we're going to wait. We're going to wait for a 4-hour to shift to bearish. But we'll find a way. We'll find what to do based on. We'll react to what price is doing. Very much depends. But I like the way the pair is looking. Very, 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 very interested in the sales. Very, very, very interested in the sales. So that's EURUSD. GBPNZD, we had this pair from last week, as I said. We've had this retest of the EMA here, so a reasonable pullback to this point. So I was saying I need a bearish, you need 4-hour bearish engulfing to sell. This pair is tricky, low-key. It's actually low-key tricky, because we've had this first pullback here, had some kind of rejection. We ignored them, we didn't make any move. We've had another pullback again, had some kind of evening star rejection, which I actually like, this evening star rejection. So now the decision is either we wait for a pullback to this point again to have another rejection to look for a confirmation to sell, or we'll just wait for when market opens, we'll wait for price to have another bearish engulfing candlestick on the 4-hour time frame. We have another maybe entry signal, maybe evening star, because price can actually open and start rallying around in this point here, start rallying around here, start rallying around in this zone here, rallying around here before it now decides to this kind of rally now decides to give us a bearish engulfing to now sell. But basically what we're waiting for is that bearish engulfing to sell. If you don't get the bearish engulfing, that's a new bearish engulfing, a new entry signal here to sell. We're not going to sell this pair. It's rejecting this zone, showing that it's respecting this zone, right? It's rejecting, showing that it's respecting. Anyway, price and price got here, rejected, price got here, rejected, rejected, and it looks nice. Zone looks nice. Entire price got here, rejected. So we're expecting history to repeat itself, right? So I would say for either wait for a pullback or we wait for rejection. I've said it over and over again. Sorry. GBPAUD from last week, as we said, price is currently bearish. As we said from the last video, price has pulled back to this zone exactly as we said. Now we are looking for sells. Price has also printed an evening star formation. This is an evening star formation here. You guys can see that evening star formation here, showing that price wants to keep selling. So now the tricky part comes to the entry. Right? So price got here, as I said, even from the 3 videos ago, we were talking about this M pattern here. This M pattern. Every pair has a story. Every pair has a story. It's just about understanding, reading the story, understanding the story. This is the M pattern here. Price has pulled back to the neckline of this M pattern. To the neckline, man. Guys, man. Like, bro. Well, price has pulled back to the neckline of this M pattern here. So we are looking to sell, but it didn't give us the rejection that we liked. We didn't get this rejection. I didn't really like it. So I some kind of need another pullback to give me that rejection that I like. Because this rejection I don't think is strong enough for me. If I had this type of this type of rejection here, like where this one is, right, I would be very, very, very much interested. If I had this rejection here, I'm very interested, but I didn't have the rejection, so I needed another pullback to this zone to see another rejection to sell. Then as for GBPUSD has shifted bearish entirely. Remember I said last week we were waiting for a pullback to sell. They didn't pull back, and it has given us this beautiful, even the blind, I believe even the blind can see this left head right. Even the blind, bro, like even if you are blind, you can see this left head right shoulder, bro. Like anybody can see this, anybody. So very, very beautiful daily left head right shoulder, waiting for the pullback, here to sell basically. But wait, as you guys should just be logical. You've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bearish days, so we should have maybe 3 or 4 bullish days, right, to sell, to be able to sell. So first we need like 2 or 4 bullish days. That means 2 or 3 days, let me say Wednesday. So that means this pair will not be ready till like Wednesday, right? So that means that's why it's at the bottom of the list now. That's why I put it here around the. Notice this daytime, this daily is already bearish, higher and lower high and lower low, lower high, lower low here. So we're basically waiting for price. This zone, I didn't choose this zone here because it doesn't make sense to choose a zone like this here. You now see this zone is not a support and resistance level here. It's not like it's not a support and resistance level. It's not like maybe you have chosen from this zone to this zone, something like this. But it doesn't make sense. Price needs to have that satisfying pullback. That pullback that I will fill the belly of price that like, yeah, I've had this pullback, So and if you want to use, I rarely use Fibonacci. But even if you want to fib from this point, right here to this point, you will still have this is your premium zone. You have premium and discount. This is your golden zone. This still falls into the golden zone where you want to sell. Basically, I didn't check this before I made this video. I didn't check for this zone. I didn't check anything. I just tried out this fib right now and see that it's falling into the same thing of the premium and discount zone. So this zone is the best zone that we're going to do for our entry to sell. You don't see at this zone, then we're looking for levels like this, maybe, but let's see. But that will be inside the week. We'll decide what we're gonna do. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, because I do drop all the updates there on Twitter, or join the Telegram with the link in the bio. I drop all the updates there. I'll also be dropping updates there. I haven't dropped anything there because I need people to start. If you guys start joining, then I will be dropping. If I don't see anybody, I can't be dropping it for myself. I'll drop it for myself on Twitter rather than dropping it on Telegram until I have an audience on Telegram. Thank you for understanding that. So now I'm waiting for a pullback on the 4-hour time frame to sell. So we pull back to this point, give us a rejection, and then we sell, blah blah blah. You know the drill. Last pair, and right at the bottom of the list, because I'm just looking at your one eye. You know, just looking at your one eye, but I'm still interested. I will not explain much. I don't say to explain. I'm just going to be looking at it. If you gives me an entry, I'll still update you guys. If it doesn't, just be looking.